The field for the Great American Race is set. Hey there, I'm Lauren Shahadi. Before the green flag is waved on Sunday, it's time to take a closer look at the events leading up to the Daytona 500. And for that, we bring in who else? Our very own NASCAR expert, Pete Pistone. Pete, how are you?
Lauren, I'm great, and I'm thrilled to be back at it and the roar of engines to start the 2009 season here at Daytona.
Back to work. It's a nice sound, I'm sure. Okay, we haven't had any cars on track for over 3 months, thanks to NASCAR's new testing ban. Has that played a part in what's gone on during speed weeks this year, Pete?
I think it has, Lauren. I mean, the atmosphere down here is one that I hadn't seen in a while. There's a feeling of real optimism and enthusiasm for these guys to get back behind the wheel, and I think you've seen it in the racing. I mean, we've had some really good racing here, starting with the Budweiser shootout, and actually some aggressive racing. As these guys really try to get things under control, and they're chomping at the bit to get to Sunday.
They're excited and refreshed. Can you blame them? The front row is set for Sunday's race after last Sunday's qualifying session. How surprising were the runs of pole sitter Martin Truex Jr. and Mark Martin in the number 2 spot?
Well, let's start with Mark Martin first. You know, that's one of the stories that we're following this year. He's back for a full-time season at age 50. He's with Hendrick Motorsports, and sure enough, his first time in the car, he goes out there and puts the car outside the front row. I think that's a great story. I think it was a little bit surprising, but maybe not as completely as surprising as the guy that won the pole, Martin Truex Jr., the team that used to be DEI, is now Earnhardt Ganassi Racing after they merged with DEI, and that's a great shot in the arm for that team as they try to get out of the gate fast, and what better place to start than from the pole?
Absolutely. You're right in the action. Today's twin qualifying races finalized the 500 field. There are a few Cinderella stories to follow. Who were some of the underdogs that made the race, Pete?
Well, in the first race, it was definitely Scott Riggs, Lauren. I mean, this is a team with Tommy Baldwin, former crew chief for Ward Burton when he won the Daytona 500 in 2001, starting up a brand-new operation. They come down here, and they make the Great American Race. That's a great underdog story. The second race, a couple of other ones. Jeremy Mayfield, same story, a team that doesn't have much funding. They kind of cobbled together something at the last minute. Now he's in the race. What about A.J. Allmendinger, who gets part of the new Petty Motorsports team deal? It's only an 8-race deal for A.J., but he starts off with a spot in the Daytona 500 after his run today in the twin qualifying race. So there's a lot of great Cinderella stories, and I think that's going to make Sunday's race even that much more interesting.
Absolutely. From an underdog to a guy that's very well known. I'm talking about Tony Stewart, leaving Joe Gibbs Racing to start his own team. So far, he's off to a good start. Can he win the Daytona 500 in his first start as an owner and a driver, Pete?
I think he definitely can, Lauren. I really do. I mean, as you said, he's off to a great start, finishing well in the shootout, finishing well today in his qualifying race. And again, I've been around Tony Stewart a while in my career, and I've never seen him as relaxed and excited at the same time as he is down here in Daytona. Now, the other side of the coin, his teammate Ryan Newman had a tough time today in the qualifying race, wound up crashing. He's going to have to be in a backup car, so he'll start at the rear of the field. But I really think Tony Stewart is a contender to win the 500 on Sunday.
All right, let's kick off the season with NASCAR's Super Bowl. Who are the favorites? You know I ask you this every time. Who are the favorites to find victory lane Sunday in the 51st running of the Daytona 500, Pete?
Well, I've got to put Tony Stewart on that radar, Lauren. I really think he's got to be one of the favorites. And I guess based on what we've seen down here, it looks like it's the Chevrolet camp. I'm going to have to say that Jeff Gordon is certainly on their favorite list after winning his qualifying race today. Didn't win all last season, and he's really pumped up about going to victory lane. But someone we haven't even talked about, the 3-time champion who's trying for his 4th straight championship and won this race in 2006, Jimmy Johnson. I think he's definitely going to be there at the end. But it's a kind of a wide-open field. I think I wouldn't be surprised if about 10 or 11 different names roll into victory lane on Sunday.
All right, the drivers are pumped, you're pumped, I'm pumped. It's going to be a great year. Pete Pistone, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Lauren. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great, and we'll talk to you every day on the site, cbssports.com. I'm Lauren Shahadi. See you soon.